Good morning. Or good afternoon, or good evening, or whenever you're watching this. So, this is Horseshoe Lake at Alvechurch for those who don't know, because you might be new to the channel and stuff. So, this is an open match. There's only 12 of us fishing. Maybe the weather's put people off, even though, to be fair, it's actually a real nice day. I've drawn peg 3 now. For those who don't know, this has definitely been a very, very, very good area. Just to emphasise that. So I've obviously been very lucky with the drawback. And would you believe it? I drew peg 3 on the canal last week. So I've had 2 peg 3s. So yeah, happy days. Just shipped out pellets. Just fishing a 6mm expander and then feeding 4mm fishery pellets. Just soaked them in a little bit of water as well. So I've done that probably about 2 hours before the match started. So just put a bit of water just to soften them up and just tapped them out on the pole, and just literally this is 2 minutes 40 seconds and I've hooked my first fish. Now this is properly hooked. So rig wise 018 mainline, 014.5 hook length, which I thought would be enough, and obviously you probably tell by the sound of my voice and that fish coming off, it wasn't. This fish has actually broke me, so I feel a bit bad. I don't know if I had a faulty hook length or I hadn't tied it properly or anything. I'm not sure, because I've been fishing pretty much all winter here, fishing 014.5, and I ain't had no problem. So yeah, so balanced tackle. So like I said, 018 mainline, 014.5 hook length, 16 hook, and then a 2.3 Maver dual elastic for a whole top kit. So plenty of elastic, and you should have enough control. The water's still pretty cold, so I didn't feel I wanted to fish any heavier elastic. But obviously, in retrospect, can't even say the word. Looking back, I think it would have been better to fish a 2.5mm hollow and fish 016 and maybe even 018. But then, having said that, I put a freaking 018 rig straight through and never had a bite. So yeah, I just contradicted myself really. So I've had a really steady run, just literally not pinging anything, just literally just tapping in a few pellets, tapping in a few pellets. So yeah, this is going pretty well. Chris Lane, I'm just about to see him. He's slightly to my right, look, by that aerator. He's been pinging a few pellets to his right. Now I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do. Mark, the owner, said that they caught quite a lot of fish shallow. This is like one of the deepest parts of the lake, and there's obviously a lot of fish up in the water. You see them moving around and topping. So, but at the moment, I'm happy because I'm catching steady, not setting the world alight, but they're decent sized fish. They're probably averaging, I don't know, £6. I would have thought, I'd probably say that. The average sort of stamp fish in Horseshoe is about £6. And they're pretty solid, so when you pick them up, you might think, nah, Chris, you're wrong, mate. But trust me, the fish are absolutely solid. So, you know what they say is muscle weighs more than fat. So, yeah. So, be warned here, it's very easy to get caught out. So, my advice, I'd only put sort of like £45 in a net, so you don't get caught out. Because there's a £60 weight limit. You're allowed a grace up to 65, go over 70. Unfortunately, yeah, that's not good on this lake. And with Arrow as well, there's fish numbers on the canal. So yeah, when you come to the fishery and you're fishing the matches, make sure you're familiar with the rules, and so you don't get caught out. Rig wise, fishing a 0.4 gram, just a bulk, 6-inch hook length, so literally bulk just above the hook length. Just real simple sort of positive rig. Float wise, just a John Walker. He doesn't have names for his floats, so it's just like just a sort of standard sort of like cart float, to be honest. Glass stem, cane bristle, and sort of like a rugby ball sort of shape. So for me, perfect. I love fishing glass stem floats because they're like really strong, and the glass is quite a stable sort of stem, so you know, it gives it stability. you can see that there's a fish just like bolted off to the left. So I've hooked this fish, and you can see I've hit a red circle saying that so now I'm beginning to think I might need to change my approach. And also, foul hooked couple come off, and whatchamacallit, Chris is catching pretty well, fishing long and shallow. So this is making me think that I might need to change my approach. Now, I'm a bit worried about starting picking bait, because what I don't want to do is ruin my peg. I don't want to end up like destroying such a flyer, because I'll beat myself up over it all week.
That's up duffer, isn't it? Yeah, that was top lip. I thought that when it came out like a dolphin.
I thought it was a skimmer at first.
Now, a bit daft, I should have definitely gone shallower earlier. So I've probably been fishing on the deck for probably about 50 minutes. And to be honest with you, the shallow line was pretty good, but it was noticeable that I would get a run of fish. So I might get 4, and then they back off, or 2, and then Chris on 29 would catch. So obviously there's just one massive pool of fish here. Don't get it wrong, sometimes we'd both be catching, but sometimes it was like nip and tuck, to be fair. I felt Chris was in front, but retrospect, to be honest with you, I probably was in front until probably the last hour. The last hour it definitely sort of faded away. Chris done 2 shallow lines, lent to his left, and to be honest with you, that just slowed me up. And I didn't fish a great match, I just lost my landing net. That the rivet come out, it just pulled out, so I need to re-glue that. The fish was alright, there was no damage done to the fish, it just literally just fell out, so there's no point messing around with that. So I just thought, right, I'm lucky that there's loads of nets behind me, so off the box and get another net. There's a land net and a couple of keep nets, because I've been really lucky, I've been catching pretty well, so I don't want to go over. That's the last thing I want to do. So shallow rig wise, again another John Walker float, cane bristle, glass stem, just a much more of a sort of like a pencil sort of shape float. Only takes 3 number 9 stots, so I spread them out. So I'm looking fishing about sort of like 2 foot, and basically just trying to catch on the drop. The wind made it awkward. I mean, the times the wind was quite hard. I think a 0 rig would have been great, but the wind just wouldn't allow you to really flick it out. Sometimes I really struggled, and I've had to change my feeding approach and like feed in like 4 mils, which I think was maybe better at the time than to feed in 6s. But looking back at the video, because obviously this is a voiceover and I review my own videos as well, I think sometimes me filming myself does actually help me. You know what I mean? So like you look back at your match and think, gosh, what an idiot, I've done this, I've done that, I should have done this. So I think that's the only way you sort of like can get yourself a lot better at fishing as well. So even though I've been lucky, and I've been lucky, I've drawn a very good peg and I had a decent weight, still done things wrong and I didn't win. So, you know, because I haven't won, you know you could do better, because the peg was worth more without doubt. From the water, I'm actually fishing 016. I've got a 18 hook, and then I got a small micro band. So real simple, and it was evident that you had to keep lifting the rig and dropping. Fishing a long line as well. I think you don't want to fish too short of a line. A short line would have been better because of the wind, but the issue is I felt that would undoubtedly spook them. So you can see like flicking the rig around and stuff, and it was evident if you just left it hanging, it just wouldn't catch. These carp ain't daft. Even though there's millions in front of me, they didn't really want to hang themselves that easily. So, like, you know, it's constantly lifting and dropping. And with the shot as well, the 3 number 9 shot on the float and 6mm, you can see there's like a little bit of disturbance on top of the water, so you creating a bit of noise. So there you go, look, that's took it pretty much on the full, I would have thought. It was just settled at 2 foot.
Now for yours. do you reckon you got then, Chris? What? Got about 95 if I'm really lucky. We lost quite a few, haven't I? We lost quite a few, haven't I? Look at my net come unstuck. I've got a landing net in my keep net. That big one, I went to put it in and the freaking rivet just fell out. What? Nah. Have you?
Yeah.
What? So that's the match over. Obviously drew an absolute flyer, peg free. I know it's not always great, but at the moment it's been a very consistent peg. It won on Thursday, and you sort of know that there's a lot of fish there. There's a lot of fish topping about sort of 17, 18 metres in front of me. And to be fair, at one stage they did come closer, come like 14 metres, 15 metres, and I had a brilliant run. Yeah, so unreal. February, £198 and come second. Chris Lane on 29's won it with 208. Fantastic weight. And then it dropped down then, peg 18 at, he was third, John Rowe with 108. He's caught down his edge. So me and Chris Lane are both caught shallow best. Did catch some fish on the deck. Didn't catch down the edge or anything like that, which is a bit frustrating, but never mind. And last hour I've only had 4 fish, which definitely has cost me. So, you know, but hey, I ain't gonna moan. I'm not bitter. You know, I can't believe I've had 198 in February, to be honest. So happy days. How have I caught? Well, just basically just flicking a rig. Nothing fancy. Just fished a 6mm fishery hard pellet in a band. Fished 016 to an 019 mainline, so like proper gear, to be honest. And yeah, I mean I've been broke up, not shallow, but I've been broke up on the deck a couple of times fishing 014.5. So yeah, definitely a little bit undergunned. The trouble is, some of these fish, they fight so hard, and I think they are hooked properly, but because they just like might be just, well, I'll contradict myself now, they're like hooked like on the skin, like the outside of their like face, or just in the lip, just like in the skin. And because they tear off, I think, you know, fishing tiny hooks, they just unfortunately sometimes just pull out. And we're definitely all guilty of maybe pulling a little bit too hard on the stripper kits, trying to, you know, maximise your catch. So, you know, definitely guilty of pulling out a few fish, which consequently is obviously cost me. But, you know, Chris has done the same. You know what I mean? I think everyone's had that. So even the world's best angler there would definitely lose the odd fish. You know, just hook balls, not line breaking or anything necessarily. Fished a 2.3 hollow elastic, which I thought was good enough. That was good for shallow, but I think on the deck, I think I wished I fished a 2.5, which I can't believe I'm saying that in February. I think that would have been better. That would have been a bit more manly. Should have fished 016, should have got on that sooner. Maybe fished a bit more of a positive rig as well, a bit more heavier, maybe 0.5 gram and 5 foot. I think that might have been better. I only fished a 0.3. And I definitely wanted to come back down on the deck sooner as well. But, you know, still had a great day, and I feel like just waffling on really, which is unnecessary. So yeah, I've probably fed, I reckon, maybe 1/2 pint of pellets max. So you're only pinging like the forwards, you're probably pinging like maybe 6 pellets, maybe 8 pellets tops, and you're trying to catch on the drop really. You don't want to be pinging it all the time, you're just going to destroy your peg really. So yeah, I didn't feed an awful lot of bait. I did change the 4 mils to 6 because the wind got up and it was quite challenging to ping 4s, and the 6s I think it did have quite a positive sort of reaction to that. I mean, I'm driving home now, I don't know what the camera's picked up, I'm not sure exactly how long the battery lasted, so I'm hoping it might show one of the spells I had where literally I couldn't believe it. It's like summers fishing, you literally hook a fish, pull it back, ping like literally 4-6 mils, get back to a top kit, net the fish, ping another 4, obviously unhook the fish, what do we call it, and then ship back out, swing it out. Oh, got another one, and it was literally like that. It was insane, and yeah, so I've never thought it'd be that good, to be honest. So yeah, off to decoy tomorrow with a devices team. Had a bit of bad news. Steve Saunders, aka Stretch, unfortunately passed away. He's been battling with cancer, and I know this might sound horrible, but I think people that know if someone's got a horrible disease like that and they're really struggling, sometimes it's like the kindest thing to happen. So no more pain. It happened to my dad, so I'm not sure about the ins and outs of Stretch. Not sure about the ins and outs, but I know the lad said that he was suffering, bless him. So yeah, I will miss him. As always, when I used to speak to him, I hadn't spoke to him for a while, unfortunately, but when we were fishing the Gloucester Canal and stuff, I used to speak to him quite a lot. Done a video with him as well, and it's always like, yo CT, what's happening? So yeah, great guy. And so there's been some real nice posts put on Facebook as well, pictures and stuff that I haven't seen of him. So yeah, fair play. A guy that will definitely will be missed. Anyway, sorry to end on a bad note.